Thanks for tuning in to the Basics of AutoCAD video show. Today we're talking about rectangles. And just to go over the steps involved in creating a rectangle. With rectangles, there's a lot of options that you can apply as you're working through the command. So step 1, set our drawing aids. Step 2, set the current layer. Step 3, start the rectangle command. And we're going to use the keyboard shortcut REC to start the rectangle command. Number 4 is select your chamfer option if you'd like to apply a chamfer to it, or you just continue on to the next step. Step 5, you can select your fillet option if the fillet option applies, or just continue on. Step 6, select the width option and follow your command line prompts, or continue to the next step. Step 7, click or enter coordinates for your first point. Step 8 is you can select the area option and give AutoCAD the area that you would like the rectangle to be, and then follow the additional prompts, or continue on to step 9. Step 9 is you can select dimensions and then say you can tell AutoCAD I want the length to be 8 inches, I want the width to be 4, or whatever those numbers should be. Step 10, select your rotation option and then apply a rotation to the rectangle. And then step 11 is click or enter coordinates for your other corner point if that applies. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this. So if you're up for a challenge today, this is a rectangle that I created in AutoCAD using only the rectangle command. And so you can see I create a rectangle. The rectangle has chamfered corners. The distance of the chamfer is 1/2 inch in each direction. I also applied a width to the border of the rectangle. The width of the border is 0.10. The length of the rectangle is 8, the width is 4, and it has a 30-degree rotation. So if you're up for a challenge, go ahead and take a few minutes there and see if you can create this rectangle, and then we'll do it all together after that. Alright, so hopefully you had a little bit of time and hopefully you got that to work out. But here's how we go through that rectangle command. So first thing, set our drawing aids. So I'm going to turn off my grid. Make sure that the only stuff that's turned on would be my dynamic input. For this, I don't even need object snaps turned on. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn those off so that they don't get in the way. And so hardware acceleration, dynamic input are the only things I have turned on. Step 2 is our current layer. So I've got my current layer as being 0. Step 3, start the rectangle command. You can come up here and click on rectangle, or just go ahead and type in the word REC and hit enter. It says specify first corner point, or you can click on chamfer. So we'll go ahead and click on chamfer. It says specify your first chamfer distance. So I'll do 0.5 for that, and I hit enter. Specify second chamfer distance, 0.5. and hit enter. And then if I wanted to, if my corners were rounded rather than chamfered, I could set my fillet. And then the other thing here is I want to go ahead and set my width. So I'll go ahead and click on width. And the width for the lines on my rectangle are going to be 0.1. So I'll type in 0.1 and hit enter. And now I'm ready to specify my first corner point. So I'm just going to click some random point out here. Then the next thing, I'm going to go ahead and set my rotation. So I'll click on rotation, and I'm going to type my rotation as being 30 and hit enter. And then more times than not, when I'm creating rectangles, I know the size of the rectangle, so I'm entering dimensions. So I'm going to use the dimensions option. So just click on dimensions. My length for this rectangle is going to be 8, so I'll just type in 8 and hit enter. My width is 4, so I'll type 4, hit enter. And then the most important thing to remember when you're using the dimension option of your rectangle is you haven't completed your rectangle command. If you move your cursor around, you'll see that the rectangle is still floating around. And what AutoCAD's looking for is basically which quadrant do you want to create this rectangle in. So all you need to do is just move to the orientation that you want, and then left click one time, and then that will cancel your rectangle command, and then your rectangle will stay there. more often I'm usually creating rectangles that don't have chamfered corners, that aren't rotated. And so just to go ahead and create a second one, I'll type in REC for the rectangle command, hit enter. I'll look up here, and right now it says current rectangle modes. So if I create another rectangle, it's still going to be chamfered, it's still going to have a width, and still going to have a rotation. So I need to go in there and I need to reset all those defaults. So for my chamfer, I'll click on chamfer, and then I'll do a 0 and 0. I need to go into my width and set it to be 0. Everything else should be good, so I'll go ahead and click just some random point as my start point. Now I need to reset my rotation, so I'll click on rotation and type a 0 for it. And then I'll come down here, click on dimensions, and my dimensions, I could do like a normal A size sheet or a letter size sheet, like what fits in most printers is 8.5 by 11. So I'll go ahead and type in 11 for the length, do 8.5 for the width, and then again, just keep in mind for your rectangle, it's still floating around on your cursor. You still need one additional left click. So just when you have it in the orientation you want, just left click there. That'll complete your rectangle command, and that's all there is to it. So again, those steps in creating our rectangles: set our drawing aid, set our current layer, start the rectangle command by typing in the word REC and hit enter. And then you can select chamfer if that applies, select fillet, width, use any of those options as they apply to what you're creating. And then click or enter your coordinates for your first point. And then you've got your area, dimensions, and rotation options. You set those as required for what you're doing. And then step 11, click or enter coordinates for your other corner point. So that's all there is to creating rectangles. I hope things are going well, and good luck.